And at the same time, I would set out to master a free strategy, which would be, well, be some sort of content marketing strategy where you are using articles or maybe blog posts, press releases, or videos. In this case, videos would be then not video ads, just videos that you learn to rank on Google and on YouTube. Content marketing is what we call this. This is very important because with content marketing, you really are building for the long term. As you are learning to rank your content, getting these pieces of content on Google, to rank on Google and on YouTube, you will start to see over time trickles of leads starting to come in, okay, then more and more leads. And these are high quality leads and they are free. And you know what? They're coming in whether you are at your computer or not, whether you are working or not, really. So if you want to learn how to automate or at least semi-automate your business over time and really build for longevity and get to that place where you are not tied to the phone and having to call every single lead and really working very, very hard, you're gonna wanna use a long-term marketing technique. What is so great about this also is, like I said, the leads are high quality and a lot of the time they are pre-sold on working with you before they even become a lead, because maybe they Googled you and they found your blog and they got to know you and trust you and like you through your blog, or maybe a video, or maybe on Facebook. So as you grow a powerful social media presence and online presence, you are also building trust and credibility with people, and they're pre-sold and they come in, and a lot of the time they sign up or get started or buy from you without even talking to you first, because the trust is there. So very, very powerful. And this is what I would do if I were starting out, again, as far as strategy goes, and as somebody who now is able to see the big picture, which I wasn't when I was starting out, and I made my share of mistakes, but this is what I would do today starting out. And keep in mind also, incredibly important, that anytime that you are producing any type of content that you put out there, if you're not getting it to rank on Google or on YouTube in the case of videos, you know what? Your content is just getting buried in the internet graveyard where nobody sees it. You've got to learn how to rank your content on Google and on YouTube. And this is what we call SEO, search engine optimization, which we have a lot of wonderful training on in MLSP. You already know this if you're part of MLSP. But yeah, so this is a huge part of it, what we call on-page and off-page optimization, so that your content actually ranks, or you will not get leads, all right? And all that work is in vain. Strategy. And I talked a little bit on my training yesterday. I go into much more detail on this in her Success Blueprint, my course, but use your story. This is a wonderful way to set yourself apart. People relate to people and they relate to stories, okay? So share your story, on your blog, maybe in a video on your YouTube channel, share your story. And you will find that your story alone often will be enough to attract people. And you're going to attract people that are like you, because when the familiarity is there, people who can recognize themselves in your story, when they do, they will also more quickly be able to trust you and really feel that you are the real deal, because they see themselves in your story and they can relate to you, all right? So your story is very, very powerful. Learn to use your story to set yourself apart from every other marketer out there. Next is your plan, okay? Your plan. It really ties into your strategies. They kind of go hand in hand. But when I talk about your plan, I talk about, what I mean is you gotta really be deliberate. You gotta have a solid plan in place. You gotta know what you are doing. You've gotta work, my recommendation is 180-day increments, okay? For some people it may be 90 days, but you gotta set goals, and I find that 180 days is really what works for most people. And 90 days, if you work really, really hard at it, is usually what it takes to get results, any kind of results really with any marketing strategy that you're learning. So say 180 days to be safe. And part of your plan, very, very important part of your plan, is to track your traffic, okay? You gotta learn how to track your traffic with a little string of code that you tack onto your website URL. Super, super easy to do. And you gotta know your numbers, okay? You gotta know your statistics, you gotta know what to shoot for, you gotta know your goals, everything you gotta know, so that you're building a real business here, okay? A real professional business, and you wanna keep track of everything and write everything down. Write everything down. I talked a little bit about scheduling on yesterday's webinar, okay? You've gotta have a DMO, daily mode of operation. This is the only way not to suffer from information overload, okay? You're gonna know exactly what you should be focusing on every single day, what type of activities that you are supposed to engage in to take your business to the next level. This is the only way that you are going to be able to not feel overwhelmed and distracted and be tempted to jump on every new marketing strategy under the sun that's coming out. Okay, you've got to know what you are, what your goals are, and what your DMO is every single day. Okay, I talked about the 5 things that leaders do every single day. Number 1, personal development. Number 2, meditate on your goals and your why, visualizing your future. Number 3, masterminding with other leaders. Number 4, profit-producing activities. And those only 2 profit-producing activities, they are generating and converting leads. That's it. And anytime you find yourself off track, okay, just get back to basics and get back to those 2, producing and converting leads. Get back to those and you'll be able to get back on track. Really, anything else is a distraction. If you find yourself spending more time and energy on any other aspects of your business than producing and converting leads, you know, you are missing the mark, unfortunately. So those 2 you always got to come back to. That was number 4. And number 5, step out of your comfort zone, making bold choices, leading by example. This is what leaders do every day. So those are the 5 things that leaders do every day that I went over on my training. And I also mentioned how checking your emails first thing in your day, how this is really a big mistake that a lot of people fall into. Is like they get on their computer and the first thing that they do, they start checking their messages and their emails and responding to this and that person. What happens then is that you get off track even before you've gotten started. Now you got to come into your work day, whether you're working full-time or part-time, you got to come into your work day with a very clear agenda. Again, your DMO, you got to know exactly what you are going to be focusing on from this time to that time and that time to that time, like, okay, increments. I recommend working in 90-minute increments. This is what I do. Usually you can't focus really intensely on a project for more than 90 minutes. Work on something for 90 minutes, take a quick break, come back, keep working. All right, schedule everything, be deliberate, okay? And this is also why, like I was saying, don't check emails or messages first thing. Do that later on. Otherwise, you're going to start out your day being reactive, okay, instead of being deliberate. The first, your activities that you start out with, you know, in the morning or whatever time you start working your business will be reactive to whatever it is that this person had to say in their email or on their voicemail or whatever Facebook messages you got, right? And you don't want to be dictated by, you know, your circumstances. No, you come into your workday focusing on something creative. I like to start out my day maybe writing a blog post or shooting a video or doing something that's fun and where I really get to use my creative abilities and get that done first thing in the morning. All right, so just a few things there that I went over as far as scheduling, which is a big part of your plan.